Another year, another summit for Africa, this time around with Italy. The Italian government of Giorgia Meloni convened the Italy-Africa summit because Italy is looking to solve two challenges: illegal migration from Africa and the energy supply challenges in Europe. Apparently, Africa can help them solve both, which is surprising given the fact that they did not bother to discuss the details of their plan with their suitors before unveiling it. And the African Union chairman, Musa Faki Mohammed, did not mince his words when he pointed this out. He said that the African Union must have been involved from the conception of that plan. So what are the details of the plan underpinning Giorgia Meloni's solutions to illegal migration and energy supply? They can be better summed up by the theme of the event: a bridge for common growth, which is word salad for controlling what passes through Italy. The plan will focus on these areas: education and training, health, agriculture, water, energy, and migration. These 6 pillars of the plan are going to be executed this way. To support education and training, Italy plans to build a renewable energy vocational training center in Morocco and upgrade school infrastructure in Tunisia, in addition to providing training and refresher courses for teachers. In Ethiopia, Italy plans to provide training and technical support to local universities. In the health sector, Italy is looking to improve accessibility and the quality of primary health care for mothers and children in Côte d'Ivoire. In the field of agriculture, the Mattei Plan aims to support a satellite monitoring project in Algeria and the construction of an agri-food center in Mozambique. In Egypt, Italy plans to support the production of wheat, soya, corn, and sunflowers in an area 200 kilometers from Alexandria, investing in machinery, seeds, technology, and new cultivation methods, in addition to supporting vocational training. In Tunisia, the Mattei Plan aims to construct a training center that is dedicated to the agri-food sector. In Tunisia, a project has already been launched to upgrade purification stations for non-conventional water in order to irrigate 800,000 hectares. To improve the management and the access to water in the Republic of Congo, Italy plans to work on the construction of wells and water distribution networks that are powered exclusively by what they call renewable energy. This will mainly be used for agricultural purposes. In Ethiopia, Italy plans to launch environmental rehabilitation work and implement water purification measures. In the energy sector, Italy does not only want to develop a bridge for common growth with Africa, it envisions itself as the bridge for transporting natural gas supplies from Africa to the rest of Europe. It wants to achieve this ambitious goal by supporting the ELMED electricity interconnection between Italy and Tunisia and the new H2 South corridor that will transport hydrogen from North Africa to Central Europe. Italy also aims to support Kenya's plans to develop a biofuel supply chain, which aims to involve up to 400,000 farmers by 2027.
However, if somebody here in Europe were to think that these global crises that we are tackling and facing could be just solved within the Italian borders, within the Italian borders, then it would be a very big and huge mistake on their side, because this massive flow of immigrants is something which requires the involvement and the responsibility by everybody to be tackled, because it's going to affect certainly the border, the frontier countries, but it will soon also involve all of the other countries. So we are all involved in this. We are all involved in trying to tackle.
The plan intends to tackle the root causes of migration. Italy is already training coast guards in Tunisia and Libya to prevent migrants from crossing the Mediterranean. The plan now wants to include the readmittance deals with origin countries, allowing Italy to repatriate illegal migrants. The energy investments are being presented as incentives for these countries to cooperate, forming the core of solving illegal migration. The Mattei Plan's scaffolding, both in terms of contents and its narrative, sounds and looks like Italy wants to foster a true equal partnership with Africa. And in the words of Prime Minister Meloni, this partnership will not be predatory, paternalistic, and not charitable. She went as far as saying that the distorted narrative which claims that Africa is a poor continent needs to be destroyed. Quote, Africa is not a poor continent at all, which is true. But rich as it is, Africa is not funding the plan. $5.95 billion is the initial amount of money that Italy wants to spend on this plan. How is it going to raise this money? Through public guarantees for investment projects and the Italian Climate Fund. A new financial instrument, together with this development bank, Cassa Depositi e Prestiti, will be launched from where the public guarantees will be coming from. Part of the funding is also expected to come from the international financial institutions like the International Monetary Fund or the World Bank, the European Union, along with Italy's state investment banks and its agencies.
The new Mattei Plan comes as an important contribution to this new phase of our collaboration. And it comes complementary to our European Global Gateway. Global Gateway, as you know, is the 150 billion euro investment plan for Africa. And this is plain and simply Team Europe at work.
So why Africa? Fewer migrants into Europe, more energy into Europe. That is why. Italy also wants to promote itself as a virtuous model of cooperation and growth between the European Union and African nations, unlike the likes of France that Meloni has accused of exploiting African countries. So this is a platform for Italy to play a more influential role in Europe at a time when the continent is scrambling for solutions. Also, Meloni wants to fulfill her campaign pledge to deal with the challenges of illegal migration.
Dichiarare guerra ai trafficanti. E questo va fatto con il supporto di tutto il sistema multilaterale, con la volontà di tutte le nazioni che non accettano di farsi, come posso dire, ricattare da organizzazioni criminali, e dall'altra parte con un lavoro molto serio che va fatto in Africa, continente che sta vivendo una condizione molto difficile, sulla quale non sempre l'atteggiamento che l'Europa e l'Occidente hanno avuto era l'atteggiamento giusto. Ecco.
So who wins with this new plan? Italy, Europe, and her partners, I guess. How about Africa? Well, Italy's efforts at presenting itself as a pragmatic partner for African countries have not always lived to the spirit of the letter. Proof number one. A gas production project in Mozambique undertaken by Eni to the tune of $1.7 billion. In this project, Italy promised to recruit domestic workers, which included both skilled and unskilled labor for support operations. And then in 2022, Italy changed its mind. They decided to give a Singaporean offshore accommodation vessel the business of hosting the workers that were employed in the support operations of the floating production unit. This deprived the Mozambican workforce of an opportunity to fulfill the demand for low-skilled work in accommodation, hospitality, and catering, which was the only real employment opportunity for locals. It was a big blow to the local business because gas development projects had disrupted the tourism industry, which resulted in grievances by the locals. When their grievances were not heard, a recruiting opportunity for the jihadist militant groups was created. Proof number two, that Italy's efforts at presenting itself as a partner for African countries have not always lived to the spirit of the letter is the Koisha Dam project in Ethiopia. According to this research paper, that project caused forced evictions and water scarcity, which increased the intensity of conflicts happening between different ethnic groups there. Proof number three is the 2017 and 2019 construction attempt of two multi-purpose dams in Kenya by Italian contractors CMC and Itinerary to the tune of $500 million. The dams would never be constructed. The Kenyan finance minister was charged with abuse of office to the benefit of the two contractors. The Kenyan principal secretary of the National Treasury was also charged with illegally approving a payment of about $2 million towards this bank, Italian bank that is, in Intesa Sao Paulo, which was financing the project while the investigations were ongoing. And the CEO of CMC was charged with conspiracy to defraud the Kenyan government, with a subsequent extradition request being issued to him after he failed to appear before the courts in Kenya. I'm not saying that everywhere that Italy has invested has been all bad, but with such a bad track record, questions need to be asked. Italy has had major projects surrounded by armed conflicts and some resulting in major corruption cases. I expected the Mattei Plan to at least say something about it, but it did not, at least not in Prime Minister Meloni's opening speech, which leaves me to actually turn to the African delegates that were represented at the summit. I hope that they raised Italy's credibility regarding its questionable business record in some parts of Africa, especially in their private meetings at the summit. In the meantime, we'll wait to see how the plan will pan out.